Okay.
You go ahead.
Well, I'll pause periodically
Okay.
to let you catch up. Okay. Fantastic. So here's a picture of me and my kids. They're a little older than in this picture now. So my oldest is 21, which seems crazy. My middle child, so my 21-year-old, he goes to school in Georgia. He's in Twin Cities for an internship though, and my middle child is 19 and she lives in Tacoma, Washington. She really likes the state of Washington and does not want to come back to Minnesota. She's not a huge fan of our winters. She just really likes Seattle area. So, and then my youngest just turned 6, so he's going to be in first grade next year. So, that's my immediate family here. So I'm a professor at the College of Pharmacy, and I'm also a research scientist at Essentia. And what I do now is I work with different communities to get funding. So I have a couple other roles at the university too, and I really enjoy being a part of different community coalitions. So, every here today, reference called the DSM-5, which is what they look at to basically make a diagnosis. So there's different sort of standards for diagnosing people with different substance use disorders. So what it is, it's a pattern of symptoms caused by using a substance that an individual continues taking despite its negative effects. So what does that mean is that somebody's using drugs or alcohol and they can see that it's not good for them, right? They can see maybe they're missing work, maybe their relationships are impacted, maybe they lost their job, right? Like there's all sorts of things that that can happen when somebody's using drugs or alcohol. So there's a pattern of symptoms, but these folks continue using the substance despite the fact that it's negative effects. So in my case, like my parents drank a lot of alcohol and they saw negative effects. So my sister and I like constantly asking them to stop drinking and telling them how bad it was, but they continued using because they actually had a disorder, right? And I think this is where it's important. One of the things we talk about is that substance use disorders, when you're really personally affected by somebody's substance use disorder, sometimes it seems more like a moral failure than a substance use disorder, especially if you're a child in a setting like that. The person that you might perceive them as being weak, like why do they keep doing this? They can see it's causing harm, what is wrong with them, why can't they stop? But it's not a moral failure, it's actually a condition, it's a medical condition where their bodies have gotten so used to that substance that they can't live without it. So they keep taking the substance even though there's these negative effects. So the criteria for somebody, like if they were coming in the clinic to be diagnosed with a substance use disorder, there's 4 categories. Impaired control, that means they no longer have control over how much they're using. So you might see this, if they have they can't stop at one drink, they have 10. Right? We probably all know somebody like that who can't just stop at one drink or whatever it may be. Like they are physically dependent, that means they can't live without it. People that are used to drugs or tolerate drugs, sometimes they have withdrawal if they don't have it. So, and that can be the case with even like caffeine, right? Caffeine is technically a drug. And so like if I don't have caffeine, I'd probably get a headache. I'm not sure. But that's not the kind of drug we're talking about, because that's not an illegal drug. It doesn't have negative effects. I'm talking about like if somebody's using opioids, for example, they might be having used opioids for a number of years, and then when they try to get off of those opioids, they can't because they're physically dependent, and they go into very bad withdrawal if they try to. And the withdrawal for opioid use disorder is really terrible. It's kind of like having this. There's also social problems and risky use. So social problems, that would be like your friends and family are really struggling with you. Risky use is like you're doing things that are not a good idea, like sharing needles, for example, or you're drinking and driving. Those are all really risky things. So that's kind of basically what substance use is out here. In case there's any questions or more time for interpreters. the United States, 2021, it usually takes like a year or two to get fresh data. But we know the trends, and they're pretty much the same, that a lot of people, 12 are pretty young, right? That's a kid. 1 in 5 have used illicit drugs in the past year. When we say illicit, so marijuana is now legal, so it's not illicit. So marijuana was a pretty commonly used drug, and it still is. And then 16.5% of the population actually have the criteria for being diagnosed